Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of the Yes She Can project. I am so delighted to be joined by the beautiful Esther. Hello Esther.
Hello Michelle, how are you?
Fine, thank you. How are you?
I'm good. I'm really good. I'm raring to go. I've got loads of really exciting stuff to do. And I'm really busy, which is good, but busy in a good way, not a bad way.
That's always the best way, isn't it?
Yes, she can.
Yeah. So for anybody who doesn't know, could you just give us a brief introduction into who you are and what you do, please?
Yeah, so my name is Esther Stanhope. I'm the impact guru, which basically means I specialize in personal impact. And one of my clients, a big accountancy firm, named me the impact guru because they call it personal impact. So basically I help people to look good, sound good, and feel good in front of an audience, in front of a camera, in front of a job interview panel, in front of any audience where you've got to show up and look good and shine and be confident. My background's broadcasting, so I've helped Hollywood stars. I've interviewed George Clooney and Madonna.
Wow.
I can talk about Hollywood stars later, Michelle. But I spent years really behind the scenes as a senior producer and head of programs for a TV channel in the past.
Yeah.
I've been the person getting my talents to be brilliant. And then I used those skills, and I knew I was going to leave the BBC at some point. And then somebody that worked for a big accountancy firm said, so how about using those skills in business? Because business people need what you do. They need this impact. They need personality. So
confidence as well.
Yeah, they need confidence. So then when I left the BBC to set up my business as a coach to help people to bring their personality to the pitch, that's when I kind of coined the phrase personal impact, and then the impact guru became. And now I speak all over the world at conferences and I help people. But I was very, very nervous about being in front of the camera myself. So my journey was behind the camera as an expert.
Yeah.
And then, Michelle, I don't know about you. I mean, you're very accomplished at this podcast, but when you first did it, I bet you weren't that confident, were you?
No, every single time I'm exactly the same. Few deep breaths, and then I just think, oh, okay, just do it. That's the easiest way to do it. I can't say anything more.
And what I found was quite often when I was working with senior leaders, particularly women had the confidence issue when it came to speaking up. So yeah. I felt that fear myself when people first started asking me to speak at a conference and things like that. I remember thinking, no, I'll help you do it.
Yeah, I'll be behind the scenes.
I haven't got a copy of my book. Hang on a second. Look, I've got a copy of my book handy. I actually felt I felt so passionate about my fear of public speaking. I wrote a book about it called Goodbye Glossophobia. That picture is a Liechtenstein art version of me. Well, it's kind of like I only did that to make it for the reference points to get the face. But Goodbye Glossophobia, Banish your fear of public speaking. I wrote the book because it is full of tips. The what if you don't like public speaking, and I was terrified of public speaking and I wasn't good at it. So I mean, if you want to contact me, Esther Stanhope, if you Google me and if you send me a message, if you're listening to this and you want a free audiobook, I will send you the link. I promise you get a free audiobook. If you're scared of public speaking, I will send you that if you're listening to this.
Brilliant. You heard it here first, folks. So going back to your career, I don't know whether I'm allowed to say, but at one of the big television channels.
The BBC.
Oh yeah. Okay. I didn't know whether I was allowed to.
I think so. I think if you work for the BBC for many years, it's all over your CV and stuff.
Yeah, you could. Yeah. So your role entailed obviously being behind the camera at that point, and then you touched upon somebody saying to you, you should use your skills. Was that the light bulb moment that made you change careers, or was it already kind of in the works for you anyway?
Yeah, that's a good question. The light bulb moment. We all have those light bulb moments, don't we? So I do remember there was one time I was at the BBC, I was producing the breakfast show, and it was really busy, lots of guests coming in and out, and quite often people would come in and they wouldn't be that great. So you'd have to quickly get them to be charismatic.
Yeah.
You want them to ooze charisma and
Give them a
confidence.
couple of Red Bulls.
Yeah, literally. So I'll give you a little tip there. Caffeine isn't good
Oh,
for public speaking. I'll tell you why. It makes your heart rate go up, and when your heart rate goes up, you're more likely to be scared and more likely to lose your lines. Yeah, and if you're anxious, you can't really relax into it and be yourself. And that's a lot of my clients that say, how can I be myself? I'm too scared. When you're anxious, you're unlikely to be able to relax into it and be the best version of you. I remember there's one time this agent came in with an author, and the agent pulled me aside and went, Esther, can you give this guy a personality? He said, I'm taking him on this tour for his book. And it's awful. He's got no personality. And of course, I'd seen it and heard it before because I've helped people. And, I understand why he hasn't got a personality. It's not because he hasn't got one. It's because when he goes on air, he goes, and, he's kind of stuck in his anxiety. Anyway, and then he said, no, I'll tell you what, I'll pay you if you could take the day off. Whatever you need, can you book one of your film crews, whatever you need, can you just give this guy a personality? And I was like, I thought for a few moments and I thought, I absolutely can give him a personality. And I suddenly thought, what does he need? He needs a sprinkling of, he needs some permission to give him. He needs some zhuzh, he needs some oomph, one of my favorite words. Oomph. He needs some personality. But he needs to have somebody to support him, to give him some reassurance that he can shake his body down. He can physically and mentally look better just by standing better. He can have a better voice. He can have a personality, because what he wasn't doing was giving himself permission to be himself. Anyway, I took a day off. I got the old work experience with a camera, got a microphone, and we went out and we did vox pops on the street. I made him interview people on the street, and I made him go in front of the camera, watch himself back. And hey presto, within a few hours, he had a personality. Yay! And I suddenly thought, and he was hugging me, thank you. Oh, this is amazing. Look at me. I made him look at himself before and after.
Okay.
And I just remember thinking at the time, I think I just had my second kid. I've got a daughter and a son, and my son was probably only 1 at the time, quite a few years ago. And I just remember thinking, oh, I really love this. I love doing this. This is
like an inner joy it brought you.
I mean, I love being on air and doing live shows, and the guests are coming in and out. But actually really helping somebody go from 0 to hero.
Essentially. How did he find it at the beginning though? Was it really difficult to kind of coax him into doing it, or was he quite willing to do it knowing that he had you behind him?
Do you know what? I think if you want to be good in front of the camera, and since COVID, we've all had to learn camera skills. If you want to be good because it's really good for your business, or it's really good for your promotion, or it's really good for your leadership and for you to be seen as a thought leader, if your motivation is, I need to be good at this stuff, right? You will do anything to be good. And if you're really scared and you're defensive, some people get defensive because they don't feel comfortable. So they fight it like, I don't want to be a show off. Why should I be showing off? And I think, well, look, it's about, you've got to make a decision. If you want to be promoted and you want to be seen as a leader, there are certain things that you can do if you choose to that will make you brilliant.
Stand out. And
so
that's
I
what
think
it's all
that he
about.
was very motivated to do it, and I think he was just really appreciative. And the way I work is, I am informal. I try and make it fun.
Fun. You just ooze fun completely.
Well, I look for the best. I'm not there to judge. I'm there to bring out what you have, and I'm there to make it feel fun and comfortable and easy. And yes, I do stretch comfort zones. I've stretched my own comfort zone. And the other thing is, I know how it feels to feel totally naked in front of that camera, totally exposed. I'm not happy with my body. I'm not happy with my weight. I'm not happy with the way I look. I don't like looking at myself on camera. I'm normal. But that's how I think it's quite helpful that I know what it feels like.
Definitely, because then that puts you, I think sometimes when people look for help such as this, then they always assume that the other person has either never been through it before or don't know how they feel. But I think when you find somebody like you that has been in that situation and probably still has moments where you continue to be in that situation, then it makes you all the more approachable and people want to work with you.
Yeah, and what I found is a lot of people can't afford a one-to-one coach.
Mm-hmm.
Which is why I'm setting up we'll talk about that in a minute. I'm setting up my 80% Perfect Club. I'm setting up a fun and affordable confidence coaching program. So you get these little lessons that are sent straight to you, and you don't need to thousands of pounds to have a one-to-one coaching program. Because what I found is that a lot of people need the same kind of tips and the same kind of advice and support. And then if you were just reminded on a weekly basis, you know, remember,
actually,
speak up in your next meeting.
Yeah.
Exactly. Remember to give yourself permission to be yourself.
Yeah.
Remember to give yourself permission to speak up. You know, sometimes people need to be reminded of that.
Yeah.
And having that ongoing support and I call it a drip fizz effect. You know, every week just be reminded that you could do one thing to give you more confidence.
Yeah, and to step forward in that direction, eh? Yes,
and I call it a confidence booster jab.
Oh, I like that. See, there's been so many good things come out the last 2 years, hasn't there?
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
How did you manage to up your own confidence? Was it sheer practice that you're getting your clients to do? Was it just to keep doing the things that frighten you?
You know, it's really interesting because I have done human experiments on myself. I absolutely can tell you.
Tried and tested.
Yeah, I mean, I remember hearing a quote years ago saying when you're doing a presentation, because when you're doing a presentation or a pitch or you're speaking in public, there's something about that scenario that for some people, that's the moment that unpicks you. That is the moment that you are like, I'm going to die. I'm so unconfident. It's just picked a whole, I'm unraveling. And that's just, I think it's really just, that's the scenario that unravels the confidence.
Yeah.
And I remember somebody quoting to me, if you speak out loud, if you practice your pitch or whatever twice out loud, you know, it ups your confidence by 73% or something like that. And what that really means is if you practice, you are going to be more confident. Of course you are. However, it's not just about public speaking. It's really about life. If you do something regularly, it becomes normal. So if you flex your little confidence muscle every day.
I love all these phrases you have. They're brilliant.
You know, I've tried it all. I've literally tried it all. I've tried imagining the audience were naked. Doesn't work. I've tried alcohol. Doesn't work.
Caffeine doesn't work.
You think it works at the time and then you realize it really doesn't. If you flex your confidence muscles, right, every day, they get used to it and they get bigger and they get stronger. And you've got to flex them. How do you do that? You just sometimes
keep doing it.
But also scare yourself a bit. It's okay to scare yourself. So there's lots written about this. The Susan Jeffers book, Feel the Fear.
Yes,
and
feel the fear and do it anyway. That's a real phrase at the moment, isn't it, really?
Yeah. So the way I built my confidence is by facing my fears and facing it and saying, you know, maybe I am a bit afraid, but why am I afraid? I've had a lot of help as well. I've had coaching. I've had a business coach. I mean, I definitely wouldn't have grown my business the way I did without the help. I think you need help, whether it's an online program, whether it's a one-to-one coach. I've had different types of coaching and I never knew about coaching and personal development before in the olden days. I remember, you know, meeting a life coach and going, wow, what's a life coach? You know, she used to work at the BBC and she said, well, all you do is kind of look at all the different aspects of your life and decide what you want to improve. And I was like, oh, that's amazing. Wow, that's good.
I think it helps, doesn't it? Because you're having somebody step outside of where your mind is at that particular time and they're giving you an objective view. But not only that, they're they're holding you accountable. So we can all say to ourselves, oh, I want to do a pitch, or I want to do a speech or something like that, but we will be the ones that are holding us back. If you've got someone in your corner, almost like a mini cheerleader like you do, then you have to do it. And then that's how you do push yourself forward for things.
I do remember though, when I used to produce Vanessa Feltz's show, and we'd get, I remember, you know, if we had a life coach, or quite a few years ago, if a life coach was coming on, she'd say, oh no, we don't want one of them. I mean, basically they just say what you could write on a tea towel. So we used to call it the tea towel test. And there was one guest that came on, she goes, so, you know, what's your message then? What's your message? Is Vanessa asking the life coach. And the woman said, well, I remember buying some special bath salts, and then I waited until the right moment to use them. And then when the right moment came, they'd gone off. Right. So we were kind of laughing because it was on the radio, so you can't see the person because they were down the line on the radio. And we were like, anyway, and then we were like, when we tried to get another story out of this woman, and she didn't really have another story. That was it. That was her message. I understand the message. It's good. Like, it's okay, you know, seize the moment. What she was saying was carpe diem.
Don't wait.
Don't wait. And I quite often hear clients say to me, you know, I'm waiting to be confident. Then I will go and speak. Then I will go and put myself forward. And and my message is, don't wait. So in a way, the bath salts lady, although you could write it on a tea towel,
yes, you could.
And I didn't know at the time that was the kind of coaching. I didn't know there was a coaching industry.
It was quite la-di-da before, wasn't it? It was very like niche. Yeah.
It's a bit kind of, and I can understand why Vanessa used to go, oh, don't get any of those on again.
Just don't get the tea towel ones on.
I know. And then I'm sure she probably thinks, what does Esther do? Oh, she's not one of those tea towel women, is she?
Imagine. Because
I'm like, flex your confidence muscles. But I have had a lot of experience helping people to do that. Yeah. And my work is also about content and about, you know, having a story, having a message. The leadership angle is really important. If you can't express yourself well, if you're a leader, your followers aren't going to be very impressed with you, are they?
Yeah, exactly. Because it's all about the person behind whatever it is that somebody is trying to promote, whether that be their business or something like that, because people buy into the person that's behind it. Because if they feel like they're on the journey with you, then it makes them more inclined to gravitate towards you, doesn't it?
Yeah, and you're an entrepreneur, aren't you?
Yeah.
So you know what it's like to be a thought leader. Are you a thought leader, Michelle?
No.
Yes, you are. You are a thought leader.
I'm just kind of there.
Well, I could give you a few tips.
Oh, I think I need some. I've got a pitch on Wednesday in front of like a panel of retail buyers, which I'm absolutely so nervous about.
Well, I can give you a really good tip. Is it online or is it in face-to-face?
Online, yeah.
Online. Okay, the first tip I'll give you then, and this is a really good tip for everyone in the whole world. Okay. Get yourself a little post-it note and stick it by your camera to remind you to look at the camera the whole time. Okay. Do not look at your screen. Write on your screen that to remind you to look at the camera. I know that is so easy, that tip, but honestly, look at the difference between camera and no camera. Yeah,
so I've constantly been looking at you the whole time.
Yeah, which is fine.
But
this is a podcast.
Yeah.
On a podcast, you can do whatever you want. You could be naked if you want. No, I don't suggest that we get naked now.
No. For anybody listening, clothes are still on.
We have our clothes on, although I have a quick funny story talking about presenting and online. I heard a story recently. There was a very senior lawyer, and she was at a conference, and it was an online conference, and they were on Zoom, and then they would get them from Zoom and then put them on the main stage. And so there you are on camera waiting, you know, to go on the main stage. Yeah. So she thinks she's in the green room. They're like, oh, this is the green room. We're going to put you on stage virtually in a few moments. So she changed her top.
No. Oh, gosh.
Things like that. I'm sure you've heard worse. I mean, there's people have been naked and all kinds of things.
No, I've not heard about that.
If you, I actually wrote a blog during lockdown about, you know, Zoom bloopers. Daily Zoom. and people were just emailing me. I couldn't possibly repeat some of what people emailed me. Films, naked people.
Oh, for God's sake.
The naked boyfriend walks across, trying to run after the dog or something.
Oh, the only Zoom blooper that sticks in my mind is the one where the guy is like on the news or something, and then his
Welsh guy.
his kid comes in and drags
Professor
the kid
Kelly.
out.
Oh, Professor Robert Kelly. That's right. And his wife,
sure.
Yeah, it was Professor Kelly.
She was like down on the floor like this, grabbing the kid.
He was talking about North Korea.
Yeah.
And he was like moving his kid out
Shoves her out the way. It was so funny.
It was so funny. He was actually the trailblazer of remote working.
Yeah, absolutely, because we've all had to adapt, haven't we? So I'm guessing that obviously you, Esther, found such a massive uptake in your services in particular. What would you say is the biggest hurdle that your clients have when they come to you?
I mean, the main thing is that people want to be more confident when they speak.
Mm-hmm.
They want to come across well.
Yeah.
They want to know how to stand, how to speak. They want to know what their personal brand is.
Yeah.
Quite often, it's a case of, I haven't got a personality. Can you
like that poor guy?
Yes. Can you give me a personality? I want to be able to speak like a leader. I want to be able to look credible. I want more gravitas. And another buzzword is executive presence. How do I have executive presence?
Yeah.
How can I be the leader and how can I own my space? And then there's quite a few answers to those questions, because everyone's different. I mean, I know that's obvious, okay, but what people don't realize is their talent and all of their
different
individual toolkit is their life story, their core values, their thoughts, their feelings. And it's about how do we get that to work for you
in our favor.
And there are rules of thumb. I mean, there are body language rules of thumb. There are ways of crafting a story. There are ways of crafting a really good elevator pitch, for example. So probably when people say, oh, you've got any tips for me? So for example, Boris Johnson used to come into the BBC when he was mayor of London, and he asked me one time, so have you got any tips? And I just simply said, yes. All you've got to do is love your audience a little bit more than yourself.
Damn it, can't do that.
Serve your audience. So your audience, yes, she can. You're serving your audience, saying, look at these women. Yes, you can do it. Why can't you do it?
Exactly. And it's about the stories behind the women and how they've got there, because we've all got a story within us, haven't we? And like you said, it's about getting that story out there for everybody else to hear, to be inspired by, to follow in the lead of. It's brilliant.
Yes. And so my tip really is, don't wait to be confident. Get out there and do it. And it's not about you. I mean, one of my clients said the other day, wow, you changed my life when you told me, the audience doesn't care about you. I said, how much? I said, what the audience really thinks of you when you're doing your presentation? You know what they really think? Absolutely nothing. They're not there to judge you. We judge ourselves. We've got enough self-hatred.
Totally.
We've got enough voice of doubt. We've got enough, our inner beliefs. We've got enough blockages in our own heads without the audience blocking us and judging us. And so
I think as well, when the audience is sat there and you're worried about what they're thinking, they've already got their own worries in their head, that they're too busy thinking about those to even judge you anyway.
And so really, when I speak to women, I speak to women all over the world, women leaders. It's really a case of what's more important. Is your cause, is your purpose, is your message more important than your paranoia? And when you realize that you're helping people, or you're the leader, they're looking to you, you're a role model, when you realize that is outweighing your inhibitions and your embarrassment and your worry that your hair isn't good. Like me, when we first came on today,
like me with my roots.
That silly bit of hair. It's really about, what are you there for? What are you giving your audience?
And what's your message? And what are people going to remember you for, essentially, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah.
Have you ever had anybody that has come to you that's been absolutely impossible to work with and impossible to give a personality?
Well, the main one is my 16-year-old daughter.
Okay.
She literally fights me when I say, okay, so what you could do is, and then she'll, no, why should I do that? I wouldn't do that. I said, well, if you have your feet planted, have good, strong body language. No, I want to move around and fidget. I mean, why would you do that? Oh, because that's me being myself. Okay,
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah. And you know, she's the most difficult client I've ever had. The only one that would actually say, I didn't enjoy the experience.
Yeah.
Sometimes when I'm working with a client, if it's like an everyone's invited type masterclass, come and, you know, let's do personal brand. And there's, you know, 35 people have been invited to do personal brand. There's one time I was coaching a session and it was about personal brand. So I simply asked the question. So just have a think, you know, what do you think people might say about you?
Okay.
When you're not there? That's what personal brand is. And these people hadn't really signed up, you know, they've been told to come to the session. So they're a bit like cynical. And if people are cynical, it's really difficult to help them. Because if you think that you're really confident and you're not interested in speaking like a leader, you're not interested in having charisma and whatever.
Or flexing your muscles.
Flexing your confidence muscles. That's fine, you know. I'd rather you didn't come. Everyone else. I normally turn the cynics around though in my sessions. But there's one guy and I was asking, so what do you think people might say about you, you know, get into pairs or whatever? And so people, and then a few people put their hands up to say what they thought people might say about them. We're talking about personal brand. And this guy was like, he was from France. He was like, I do not know. I do not know what people might think about me. I said, no, because I didn't ask them. I never asked them. Right? Okay. So I was like, well, I said, I didn't really want your 360-degree feedback. This is really, I actually worded the question. It was more like, what do you think people might think about you? Because that's really what your personal brand is. Yeah. How will people describe you when you're not there? So they might describe me, for example, as, whoa, she's got a lot of energy.
And fun.
Which could be positive bad or good.
No, it's good.
But sometimes your greatness is also your downfall. But that's just an example. People might say, wow, she's got so much energy. Anyway, so this guy said, I do not know what people say. And I said, well, no, you don't have to ask them. He goes, hang on, I could text people. I said, no, it's really what you think they might say. Yeah. And I said, well, you know, what do you think they might say if you're not there? And he paused a bit and he went, I do not care. I just thought, spot on, mate. I thought, I'm jealous. I wish I was like you.
Well, in a way, but really, he doesn't need to be there, does he? He should have just left.
It was just funny. He actually he ended up really enjoying the session, coming up to me afterwards, going, thank you, you really helped me. You really opened my eyes. I never knew what personal brand was. I never heard of it. It sounded like something you'd read on a tea towel.
Oh no, we're back there again.
What's your personal brand? But actually in business, it is important. What impression are you leaving? That's all it is.
It's a massive question actually, and something that you'd never really consider before. So I think what you're doing is really important because you're getting people to think outside of the box and thinking about lasting impressions.
Yeah, and everybody wants you never get a second chance to leave a first impression. Oh, that's going on the tea towel. You should have
a whole range of tea towels.
I'm going to do it. I'm doing a tea towel range today. I don't know, Michelle, you've brought out the worst in me, honestly.
Has there been anybody, Esther, because I bet it's so amazing, I bet you feel like a proud mum when you coach these people and see them go from being such a shy person to really kind of stepping into their own and managing to do things. Has there been anybody that's left a lasting impression on you the same way that you've left a lasting impression on them?
Absolutely. I mean, I've got lists of people that literally started out saying, I wouldn't be seen dead speaking at the conference, and then absolutely nailing it. And some of them I couldn't possibly tell you who they are because they're quite high profile, and I wouldn't like to. Yes, but it's amazing. But there's one particular woman, I love her so much, Elaine. She's actually she's featured in the last chapter of my book, and I think her little story is called 3 Little Words. And she was working at a massive accountancy firm, and she was asked to speak at the partner conference. So she knew about me because I'd coached I'd run a session for them, and she said, I need help, can you give me one-to-one help, just whatever it takes, I'll pay anything. No, but it was like, just whatever you can offer me, whatever. So we had a few sessions, and she said, look, I've got this problem. I'm going to speak at this partners conference, because she was setting up this new little mini project. But it was really important because it was all about innovation. Anyway, there were going to be something, I don't know, 400 partners in a very posh hotel. She said to me, that's loads. I know. She's like, the person before me is a YouTube sensation from Africa who knows the Obamas, and he's like this amazing techie guy. She said, how I'm on after him. I literally want to die in a hole. I can't even, there's only little me. What am I going to do? Help. This is terrible. Anyway, I said to her, and this is in the chapter's called 3 Little Words, because I said to her, listen, this is my advice. If you're going to be on after somebody, right, don't worry about you. What you're going to do is if they're like clapping and saying, woo, great guy, you're going to come on and you're going to take that energy and you're going to be confident enough to give him your feedback, you're going to comment on him, because that will then keep the momentum going. Whatever you do, do not, and this is for women in particular, you do not say these words. How do you follow that? No, don't apologize. Don't imply that you are rubbish. Don't imply that he's so brilliant and you're just so terrible. What you're going to do is you're going to big him up. So I think on the day, right, the stage was like a runway, like a model's runway, like what do you call it when the model, the catwalk? The catwalk, that's it. Yeah. Thinking of the American thing. So the stage was like a catwalk. And it was going into the crowd, and all of the sound engineers were there, and she was mic'd up with her Madonna mic. She was standing at the back, and she was like, she said to me, you were on my shoulder, because she said I could have just walked out of that door and run. I was sick. Or I'm going to walk up the catwalk. I'm going to walk up the runway. Anyway, this guy got a standing ovation. And everyone's clapping. Whoa! He was amazing. And now it's her turn. So she thinks, I've got to do it. I'm going to do it. And she said, I was on her shoulder going, go on, go and big him up, and just say, a couple of words about him, So she walked up the end to the end of the catwalk, and then she looked around. God,
I'm so nervous for her. As you're telling me.
You know what? I've actually got goosebumps. Went to the end of the catwalk, and she looked around and she went, wasn't he fantastic? And started giving him a round of applause, and everyone went, yes! Yeah. And they're clapping before she's even started. Okay. And then because they clapped and they were smiling, and that's how she started her first few moments, because the first few moments are really important, particularly if you're a woman. If you stand there and apologize and go, how do you follow that? No, you've just thrown away every single ounce of credibility that you could possibly bring to the party. Anyway, she started like that. So obviously it was good. She was a triumph. Anyway, so she obviously rings me afterwards, tells me, oh my goodness, you wouldn't believe it. Oh, I would never have done that. Thank you. Oh my goodness. And she's written in my book, she writes her little account in the end of my book. But the funny little end of the story is at the bar afterwards, she was like, afterwards, she's like,
thank God.
One of her bosses, her bosses were there because it was a partners conference. One of her bosses came up to her and he went, that was incredible. The way that you took over from that guy, and he specifically commented on how she handled it, that she didn't crumble. She wasn't like, oh, I'm just a silly little girl.
Yeah.
You know, she absolutely kept the atmosphere buoyant,
buzzing, yeah, and feeding off their energy, because instantly if they're so like riled up and excited about him and what he's just done, then by her complimenting him, that instantly the audience is on her side at the very beginning.
Yeah, absolutely. So the takeaway there is never ever put yourself down in front of an audience. And when if you think it's humor, oh, it's humor, self-deprecating humor. Oh, I'm just being funny, going, oh, you haven't really come to see me, have you? Or something funny, self-deprecating. Every bone in your body, particularly if you're a woman, every bone in your body is focused. Yeah, it's focused on, let me just put myself down. Let me just lower the expectations. You might, you know, it's like coming onto a stage and going, now I'm going to lower your expectations. I am crap, okay? I'm going to be crap, but if I'm good, I want some really good feedback. Right? But don't do it. Don't apologize. Don't say that you're bad, because the audience doesn't want you to fail.
Yeah.
And quite often when a woman gets on a stage, and this is sweeping generalizations here, but if you've ever been to a comedy night, for example, a woman gets onto a stage and you don't want her to fail. You don't want her to be vulnerable. You don't want her to go, oh, I'm really rubbish. You want her to take control and own her space. You want her to take you with her. Yeah. And it's really important. That's my message to women is, do not apologize. Do not make humor and be self-deprecating. Give the audience something great. Share something really great with the audience. That is the way to do it.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, I love that story. I'm going to remember that story for the rest of my life. Bless her. I bet I can't imagine how she felt afterwards as well. I bet she was absolutely over the moon, and I bet she carried that to the next one she did, and the next one she did, and things like that.
She certainly did, and she certainly remembers it.
Oh, as do you though as well, and as do I, and as will the listeners when they've listened to this story as well.
Yeah, I've got a lot of stories. If you get the book or you download the book, there's a lot of stories of people that have failed.
Brilliant.
And then brushed themselves off and done it again and not failed. A lot of stories about people that, you know, that feeling of, I messed it up, I'm a failure. We've all done it. I mean, I've forgotten my lines loads of times, and I didn't actually know what stage fright was in the past, and I've learned the hard way. I'm not scared anymore. It's so great not being scared. It's so great to know that you can overcome your confidence issues. And the other thing is, I'm not 100% confident all the time. I still have inner confidence issues. However, I've learned to deal with it,
push past it.
Yeah.
And I think when people talk about fear only ever comes in situations like that, when it matters or when it's important to you. So you should kind of accept that fear is a feeling, but not allow it to consume you and stop you from doing those things.
Yeah, absolutely.
What has been your highlight so far of your career, Esther?
Wow, I think the highlight of my career was really writing, being able to say, I've written a book. And I won an award for the book. And it's funny, I haven't actually thanked and appreciated all the people that contributed to this for quite a long time, because I wrote it a couple of years back. And I wrote the book partly because I had a bit of a health issue. In 2017, I had a mild heart attack. And there's heart disease in my family. I was overdoing it, but I had no idea that I had a health issue. And it's very rare for women to have heart attacks. And my dad did have a proper fell down on the floor heart attack, whereas I didn't fall down on the floor. I just had mild symptoms. And I've talked about it a lot in the press and the media, partly just to raise awareness, because when women have heart issues, it comes, they call it it presents itself, which is quite ironic. It presents itself in a different way. You don't suddenly go and fall down like in the movies. But when I had the heart attack, it did stop me in my tracks. And it made me think, oh, I haven't finished.
Oh,
I haven't finished. I'm busy.
Don't take me now.
In fact, even when I was in the hospital, she went, "You're going to have to be an inpatient." One of the cardiologists, and I said, "Oh, what do you mean?" She went, "Well, we are going to have to keep you in, to have an angiogram." And I said, "Well, no, I've got a meeting at 3." She's like,
Priorities.
"No, I don't think you'll be having a meeting at 3. You're going to be in the hospital." And I was like, "No, I don't think I just didn't believe that I was ill. I didn't think that I had a heart issue. Anyway, I had an operation. I had a stent put in. I'm absolutely fine. I take meds. But I really, so the main thing that changed my life at that point was I did have a business coach that was helping me, and we'd been talking about a book. But actually, it was when I was sitting in the hospital and I was waiting for the angiogram, and I didn't feel that ill. I felt.
Did you not?
I just thought, why am I in this hospital? This is stupid. But it did give me time to think, and I had my laptop.
Of course.
I was writing blogs, and I thought, no, I haven't finished.
Oh, bless.
And why haven't I written my book yet? Why haven't I written my book? What's wrong with me? Like typical of me.
There's no time like the present from my hospital bed.
Carpe diem. Does it sound that tea towel? And actually it gave me time to think and also to realize I can't really write very well. I'm semi-dyslexic, but I really enjoy it. And I like putting my ideas down. I've got loads of ideas. When do I ever have the time to sit?
To collate them.
Yeah. So the book really represents that change as well, when I actually properly sat on my bottom.
Being forced to, let's not forget.
Yes, for more than 5 minutes. But it wasn't just at the hospital. I mean, obviously, it was quite difficult. You have to really sit there, for maybe an hour a day. And my coach at the time, Kim Duke, she was my business coach. She's really into writing herself. And she just said, just write every day. And I said, Kim, I'm not very good at writing. She went, just write rubbish and I will edit you. And she did. And then I wrote this book, and Patrick at LMPP Design, look at me plugging people, he did the design, and he put loads of graphics in it, and we just had fun with it. It's fun. It
does look fun. It looks so
just
fun.
Tips, like what if I go red? How do you tell a story? What if I forget my lines? What if I get a frog in my throat? A frog in my throat. What if the audience hates me? What if there are cynics in the audience? All those kind of things. And it was really fun. And so that's probably the highlight. Yeah.
It looks very, like, even the book cover and how you just flick through the inside, it's very representative of your brand. It's fun, it's vibrant, it's cool, it's energetic. You can just see that, can't you? It's
hang
a real
on, let me just write that down. Fun, vibrant. Fun. I'm going to write that. Vibrant. I like that. Cool. Energetic. Yeah, good. I like that. That's a good brand. That's a really good brand. Are you fun, vibrant, and cool? You love this.
Do it. Let's do that. So moving forward, so you touched upon before about your 80%. Sorry, excuse me.
That's right, 80% perfect club.
80% perfect club. So is that what is moving you forward in being the impact guru, or is that just kind of like a sideline? Could you tell us a bit more?
No, it's absolutely part of it. Yeah, it's part of the brand.
Part of the fun and energetic.
No, but it's another project that I'm doing. As there I am helping people. I've helped thousands of people all over the world, and now I'm doing it so people can log in, they can get their little Monday mission and get their little permission every week to be a little bit less perfect if they want to, a little bit of a nudge and a tweak, and a little come on, speak up at your next meeting, why not? Or a little message like, come on, don't let the bath salts go mouldy.
Do you know what your new tagline should be? What? Everyone needs an Esther in their pocket.
Oh, right. An Esther,
everyone needs an Esther in their inbox.
Esther in their inbox. Well, that could sound a bit like you know, a bit rude.
Maybe we can tweak it.
No, that's funny. There used to be a toy called Monster Me Pocket. So it could be Esther Me Pocket.
Stanhope Me Pockets.
Yes. One of my clients said that I should be on prescription on the NHS. Should be able to get me on prescription.
Yeah, definitely.
And I thought that was a compliment. And the way I see it is that, you know, it boils down to confidence, really, about speaking, about how you feel about yourself, about are you going to go for the promotion? Are you going to step into that leadership role? And if you could have a little bottle of confidence, and you could have a little jab every week, have a little confidence and
booster,
30 mil, a little confidence booster jab, right? Every week. That would be great, wouldn't it? And it's not too tiring, and you don't have to do much work yourself. It just arrives there and it says, come on, this week, if you want to do this mission, it's up to you. You don't have to, but if you want to do this mission this week, you are going to. And then the missions will be things like you'll every morning say to yourself, I only need to be 80% perfect today.
Yes.
And then actively go and do things and don't be perfect.
Yeah. And then spend your 20%, sat on the settee, looking like crap, drinking and eating everything that you want.
Yeah, and it might be something, one mission might be, okay, so write yourself a letter to you in a year's time. What do you want to
I love that.
You know, just little things like that, things that have really helped me. Or maybe something like, thank the thing that you are most anxious about. That's a brilliant confidence booster. So if you're anxious about something, it's like you're anxious about a meeting, for example, with your boss or something about a project. In the morning, just get up and go, thank you, boss, for giving me the opportunity to talk to you about this.
Yes, flipping it on its head.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity to really unpick the issue with this project. Thank you. Because I'm gonna be a bit cheesy here. However, sometimes I get up in the morning and I do my little yoga routine, very mini yoga routine, and I think thank you, and I thank 3 things every morning. And sometimes it literally is thank you for being alive, thank you for my health, thank you for my family, thank you for my creativity, thank you. Just thank 3 things, and it doesn't matter what they are. Sometimes it could be the cat. But,
thank you, cat, for not tripping me over when I was doing my mini yoga.
But if you thank the things that you're worried about, it's actually really empowering.
Yeah, I bet. It flips it on its head, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly. But you have to do it all the time. That's why I set this membership club up. It's like a fun and affordable coach. If you can't afford a one-to-one coach, if you haven't got access to a coach, it's fun and it's affordable, and it's the next best thing, and it's guided, so you don't have to do any work. It comes to you, and that's what people like, because they don't have to get up and do something and go and find the file that says that, go and find the video, go and look for it. It's all there for you.
And also if it's like a live kind of thing, obviously everyone's got other commitments, so you don't want to sign up to a program knowing that you can't attend these particular things. I think the way that you're doing it is ideal, because it's kind of do it at your own leisure as well, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. You can take the challenge on the Monday or wait until Wednesday. There it is waiting for you, and all of the other Monday missions will be there that you can delve into if you want to. You can binge. You can binge on missions.
If you're feeling extra positive.
And then there's a monthly masterclass, again, that will be recorded always. You can always have access to it, and they'll have a few celebrity guests as well. And then there will be some live events too, members only events. So it's really exciting.
Oh, it is exciting.
Yeah, and that's my big thing. That's my next big project. I'm really looking forward to that. So you must get involved.
Yes.
And come and join the club. Come and join the club, Michelle.
I will. I feel like I've had like a mini coaching session. It's been brilliant.
Do you
so
feel
many
more
takeaways?
Confident? Do you feel more confident? Okay, what's your best takeaway, Michelle?
I would say when you said to realise that everybody else doesn't care, and it's more about you. Definitely the looking in the camera, that was really helpful. And I think the not being self-deprecating, because I don't know whether it's just us as women, but that is something that I do all the time. I'll apologize before I've even started something, but because I'm so unconfident in doing it, then I worry. Then I think to myself, well, okay, if I apologize first, then they can't feel let down.
Yeah.
But then, like you said, don't give them that opportunity. Tell them that, you know, appear that you're going to be good, and then they'll come with you along the way.
Yeah, I know it's really hard though. It's really hard to flip yourself, to go from, oh, you know, because it's not because you're bad, and you haven't got the wrong intentions there.
Mm-hmm.
The intention is, oh, but I want to be humble. I want them to realize that I'm, you know, it's only little me, you know, I'm humbling myself because I want you want people to feel comfortable. Yeah. However, what I've noticed in the corporate world in particular is that women that are standing in front of audiences, women that are leaders, chair people, moderating events, you are vulnerable. You are more vulnerable, you could argue, because people are going to be judging you in a slightly different way. Yeah. I would say it's even more important not to be self-deprecating. It's really important not to do that. Oh no, but I'm just being humble. Yeah. No, you're not just being anything. Don't do it. Yeah, because I bet from your point of view, because even when you say those words, even you say, oh, it's little old me, your body language instantly changes and goes withdrawn, doesn't it? And then it's hard for people to connect with you if you're closed off. Whereas if you're like you are, and confident and happy and energetic and vibrant, then it's easier for people to warm to you, isn't it? Definitely. And here's the thing. So women quite often say to me, oh, you know, because I always say smile at the camera, because it makes you look relaxed, engaged. It makes you look vibrant. Whoever you are, you look better if you smile. People say quite often, but, you know, I want to look professional. If I'm smiling, you know, I might not look professional. My big tip for women is smiling is good because it gives you warmth. However, you don't want to throw away your gravitas. So the body language, the big, powerful body language is really important, but then that can be aggressive or scary. So really it's the power and the warmth. So it's the big shoulders, the mixture, and owning your space, and the warmth of a smile. That is a really good combination. Oh, that's a wonderful And on tip. That bombshell. Thank you so much, Michelle. Thank you for having me. This has been so fun. I know. Thank you for coming on. Could you just tell everybody before we go where people can find you and get their hands on your book? Well, the best thing to do is search up, as my son would say, search it up, Esther Stanhope. And my name is spelt like Esther Ranson, Esther, Esther, Esther Stanhope. If you search that up, you can probably find my website. On my website, you can find the book, the audio book, and if you can even find my email on there, because a contact form. And if you ask for the audio book, I promise you, I will send you a free audio book. And, and Michelle, I'll give you the link as well, so you can, people get in contact with you. Yeah, I can pop it on the show notes as well. Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much, Esther. It's been absolutely wonderful, and I hope everybody's enjoyed all the wonderful tips. Thank you so much. Thank you. Speak to you soon. Okay.